evening, Varun and Anand. Thank you very much for joining this conference. Like we have discussed this in this conference, we will discuss what are the top 3 entrepreneurial skills that brought you success. So I would want you to quickly introduce yourself. Maybe take a minute or two and introduce yourself, what business you are in, and if you're doing multiple businesses, please explain all those businesses that you are in. That will be very helpful. So we will go in alphabetical order. That way, I think Anand wins it. So here we go.
All right.
Over to you.
All right. Thank you. And thanks, Varun, for being there. My name is Capt Anand here, and I represent a company called Mira, which is an acronym for Market Impact, Reach and Awareness, an integrated event solutions company. My background being that I'm from the forces, and post 98, I came back, and then 2000 onwards, I'm on the space of entertainment industry and event industry. And why I choose that was actually by accident, I would say. But then later it became my passion, and then that's how I'm still alive in this particular field. Otherwise, I would have probably shifted long back. So what makes me to be in this field is probably the dynamism. It's very dynamic in nature, very creative in nature. So that's how it struck myself. What we do as such is we are a corporate event solutions company. So what we do is we have one vertical which is purely into brand activations and product launches. So that calls for, like, we've been associated with brands like the earlier brands of into the FMCG market, where we launch the product to the end audience and also take care of the entire 360 degrees approach of a marketing approach for them, purely the below the line. So we are not an advertising agency, but we are a execution agency as such. So another one vertical of mine is purely where I look at employee engagement as my perspective. Here we predominantly deal and look at how to probably give that happiness quotient to the employees. And my clients here have been mostly in the IT sector and pharmaceutical, where we handle for, it could be as simple and small like engaging of 30, 40 members for a team building activity, to that of creating the warmness for their any kind of annual celebrations, would be a family day, annual days, and those kind of things, which happens live. The space we are doing virtual. So that's where it is. And third of my vertical is purely into creating our own IPs. With us, that is a festival created by us, where we execute for the, wherein that's basically the whole aspect of that HAF is to give something back to the particular city. And I started this, and it's been one of the festivals running for the last 5 years. And so we handle for, with the association of the various government and non-government sector, we support it as such. It's a non-profit initiative, of course, but then it gives me a lot of pleasure and passion to be part of it as such. So in all of these 3 things, where we come up is, we are as an integrated solutions, right from ideation of a concept to that execution of it is what our specialty is all about. And we try to work vendors, and we are a pan-India presence because my clients are spread across memory. And now, thanks to global virtual, I would say, we are a global presence because of being taking everything we are doing is purely virtual. And we embrace the new technology and embrace in terms of how to adapt it, and we are able to probably give some good solutions to the client, which is value addition to them, and we are still in the business of that. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Varun, it's over to you now.
So, hello everyone, this is Varun Jain. I'm a third generation business owner, and our company is by the name of Autofin Limited. This is a company which was started by my grandfather in 1963. And since then, we've been into providing mobility solutions for people of Hyderabad, AP and Telangana. So currently we've got dealerships for Maruti Suzuki in Bonpalli and Medchal, Maruti Suzuki Nexa, then the used car division of Maruti Suzuki called True Value, and the Maruti Suzuki Driving School. Apart from this, we are also into two-wheelers with Honda Motorcycle and Scooters India. Our outlets are mainly at Himayatnagar, Uppal, Nampalli, and a few more outlets in the older part of the city. So that has been our core business for quite some time now. Apart from this, we are also actively involved in real estate development, as well as buying out the real estate land and plotting it and stuff like that. So one of our projects that is coming up. One is opposite the old airport. You'll see a G plus 12 skyscraper coming up. So that was a land acquired by us and a couple other people, and currently there's a skyscraper coming up there. And we are also looking to develop almost 10 acres of land near Satamrai. So that's under process right now. So that's about me and the business that we are into. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful. You both of you have varied experiences, but having to do with large scale businesses, business with some scale. You have worked, Anand, in army. You are a captain, and you have those honors of serving the country. And in your service, you must have seen big. The very nature of work is quite large.
Right.
So what I wanted to do now is tell us what are those three things or three skills that you developed over a period of time which got you success in your entrepreneurial journey. Everybody has their own story. So what is your story? We would like to hear. So what are those three entrepreneurial skills that brought you success? You can go ahead and explain it, say, in about 10-15 minutes time. You have the luxury of time here, so you can go ahead and explain that. So it will be helpful for our entrepreneurial group members. Thank you.
Absolutely. So it's we start, or yeah, or Varun does it.
Start. You can start. I will show you how others have gone about doing it. So I have here, your thing is, I'm yet to write it. You told, I think, if I'm right, resilience is one
Yeah,
aspect.
resilience is one, and of course, another one is adaptability.
Adapt, or perish. I think this is what you said.
Yes.
And then you said trust and ethics, if I'm right. Huh?
Yes.
Trust and ethics. I think along with resilience, also you mentioned something.
Basically, it's more like resilience is celebrating failure. I said.
Celebrate
Failure.
Celebrate failures. Okay. Yeah, because in the failures teach you more than anything else.
Absolutely.
So what I've done is I've gone about, putting all of them like this. So we get close to around 120. If you see at the corner on the right side, we have around 120 skills that people have mentioned so far. Right. But if you club all of them together, maybe it will become 10 or 15 at the most. So the whole idea is that we want to see, okay, you have said these three, or which may end up being 10 or 15 for the entire group. And what did Pierman actually say in his research, and what is that I have in my research? I also developed that particular tool, Sarvagnya Indicator. So from that angle, we will also see, and then give you all a debrief to all our members. Maybe in a week or two time, I will compile all this information. And also we have some research of Dr. Pierman, like how top rating entrepreneurs, what they have actually said. When I wanted to give a comparison and give you a report, kind of a debrief, which will help you, everyone in the group, to understand that yes, this is how people have rated themselves or given importance, and this is how I have gone about doing it. So that's the whole idea. So that's a big picture. So we can get down to our individual stories. So because our stories are very inspiring to others, because entrepreneurship itself is a very inspiring journey. Whoever started it has a story to tell. So I would want you to start yours and then explain us. Hope this gave a good background.
Got it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
So if at all we see as an entrepreneur journey, as I said, for me, it was not like I've chosen one, but then I came into that and started liking it. And that's how I've been for last 20 plus years. So in all of this, what is that my base of being in from the forces was one of the bases for me as such, to take up something which is unknown. Because I always feel in entrepreneurship, it's always the unknown is what we face. because what we do not know around the corner, what is there as an entrepreneur, we do not know. Similarly, like the way when we used to be in the forces, when we used to go for an operation, we do not know when, where the ambush will happen to us. And I've been in the foot, so I'm from a Dogra regiment and we were in the combat. I'm part of the counterinsurgency operations. I was there in high altitude locations. The men was always there with me, such. My first priority is to take care of the men. Their safety is important. At the same time, we need to defend and we need to look at our task. So there's always unknown. Many times we were ambushed. Many times we had so-called scuttle battles where firings happened in different locations, different areas. So that's a big story altogether. So I'll not get into that. But then what is taught us there is what, be ready for anything. Because whenever I used to go to my bed in the morning there, my only ask or my men's ask would be, will I come back to the same bed and sleep in the night? Will I get 3 time meal if I can get? So those are the basics. So those basics is what we've been fine tuned in armed forces, like to like live by the land, we call it, live off the land there, and then try to look at how you could able to live the day. So for us, always it's another day for us every day. So similar as an entrepreneur journey is always another day. So for that, first and foremost, what we always felt is that resilience. Why I choose always say resilience is important is setbacks are part of it. We never say failures. We always say setback, because failure has a negative meaning, where a setback is that resilience is a kind of thing where you bounce back. And every failure, the reason why I was always mentioning there as to celebrate it is that it teaches you so much of new things, which probably will be a stepping stone for your next particular success. And trust me, in my particular business in which I am, every event is a challenge. Every event, it's not like copy paste, cut paste, copy. It's not what it is, because there are dynamics of it changes every time. So we face new challenge and we try to solve it, and many times we are successful, many times there is a kind of a setback happens. So that is what we learn from there as to what we have not done rightly, and probably accept it. The biggest thing is you need to, as an entrepreneur, to accept that you are not able to make it, because the client is always feels that you are an expert, because when I give a solution, I give as an expert a solution. He relies on me, and he actually, I would say, bet on my particular expertise to do something. And when I go wrong, he feels that I paid for you. So that is where it is. So we do have plan B, plan C, and all that, but still if there is a failure happens, accept the failure but come with a solution. That solution is what actually wins you the customer, because he also understands the various vagaries of the business environment. What is the challenge we face? Sometimes you don't get, a vendor doesn't turn up, sometimes the material order doesn't turn up, and sometimes everything collapses because of the calamity of nature. And we have faced all this, and that is where you bounce back. So that's where I would like to probably give one small example in resilience is when we did a stall for LG. Like LG gave us a particular stall exhibition in that Numaish, which we call it now. There, it's a huge stall used to be there. I think Arun will relate it. The first stall is always the big one there. So
Yeah,
we
when you enter, it's a big one.
yeah, big one, the starting one. So 2001, I think, to 2002, that's the time, I think, that way. There, he gave us the stall to do for, and one day there's a huge rain came, and we had a design of this in a such absolutely a glass kind of a design. We did it, which was a very wow feeling for them as such. Being LG is a new brand, they were competing with BPL that time. One day, the huge rain came up, and I was actually there, and all the heads of LG's so-called AP head and all were there, and suddenly it was water was gushing everywhere inside the stall. And what all I did, I didn't know what to do for, because it was, we were not able to stop it because the rains were so very. So what my guys were putting the tarpaulins and all that. So what I did immediately, I climbed up on the top and helped my guys, who were about 4 5 such workers were there of my team. We tried to pull it out. We were fully drenched, but we pull out in such a way that the rain is we able to stop it. But still, the stall was filled with water. Then we came up with a backup plan. So when we came down, the LG's head, Prashant is the guy now, his name is, he was just shouting at me like hell. What that is shouting is because he says, my products are getting absolutely, rains are everywhere, water is there, what gonna do for? I said, just give us some time. I do understand that there is something which is there. I don't know. I did not, though we anticipated rain, we have covered it, but still this is something beyond control because it is in a low lying area. The waters were gushing from the top of the Numaish area. But we tried to do something by the night. And next day morning, it was again, the scene was when we came in, uh, I could see the singer stall. That is the stall of singer, which was there next there. It was actually the sieving machines were floating in the water. It was floating outside, right? We were all knee deep. The water was knee deep. We were still going. And when I went to the LG stall, there was not even a water in sight. And the products were intact when they owned the product, because that was the biggest concern. And we were up and running. The stall that day, it was LG stall was up and running on the evening of Numaish, whereas others, everybody for 3 days, they were not able to get it run. So the setback was that failure, that when we suddenly saw there is something was really bad, that was the time when we said, oh, okay, it's just a doomsday kind of a thing. But we tried to work out that, understood where was the problem is. We were to plug it. That problem plugging is what helped us to gain LG as an account for us for the next 10 years. Because they felt key, we were hands-on, we were able to get a solution right at the spot, and able to probably prove that we were able to, we are good at our work, if not anything. But he also understood the rain was so bad. So this is where I feel that a setback resilience is very important as such. And second one, which I was talking to you about, adaptability. Why? Because in today's more the reason, though we were looking at adaptability at a longer time earlier also, but everybody will relate in today's world about adaptability when the COVID struck us. In our industry, I known when it hit us on March 2019, when things came and that and hit us, the particular thing. Just before that, we had an amazing season of corporate and weddings and all. We did large scale, one of those large scale, I would say 40, 50,000 people's wedding I've done, and big events. And we had a great plans for 2019 to come forward. We had really great plans to see that we are in next level. It just, it was like, just, it was something like, it was something what struck us, we do not know. It's like where I still remember that when I was in Siachen in my particular post, when there was a huge shelling happening on my post, and we were not able to move from my particular so-called bunker. And it struck us so badly that my commanding officer felt that this team, which is sitting in that post, is done. We were only that, we were saved that time because of some tactical thing, which I, as a platoon commander, that's what I am that time. It's a single star that time I had. So as a platoon commander, what I did was I tried to divert the fire to another next hillock, by which we are able to save our post. Otherwise, we would have been perished. Probably you would have not seen me now. So thing is that is where it was. Like, what adaptability was like, when it came like this, COVID came up, then all we did is that, okay, what is next? What is the way I could able to get connected to my client? Because every other event managers in the industry as such were telling about, we don't have any other things. That's we do physical events and nothing is happening. So we came up with, okay, my whole thought for my briefing to my team was, let us stay connected with our client. And how it is? Through virtual. So what is virtual? Frankly speaking, other than the word virtual, I did not know anything about virtual at that time. So what I did, I start unlearn and learning about what virtual is all about. Went on to some crash, kind of knowledge sharing with the different platforms to understanding the technology as such. It took some time. It took a couple of days for me to understand. Then I said, okay, let me, embrace it, take it up in my fold. Then we came up with a solution of giving to the client as simple as, if I have to do a cookery show to you, I will do it to you. How? I will do it to you in a way. Frankly, tell me one, I should tell you, Ms. Harsha, that if it have been a 1 year back before that, me as a person would not even get into such last particular line of things, because I had the team which was taking care of. So at this point of time, I have to be as one of those executives of mine who will able to give a solution, because if I leave that solution to be given by my executive who's not knowing about virtual to my client, I might lose the client. So what client felt, you do big events. So yaar, ye to kya cookery show kya karega tu? Main bola, no, it's not that. I want to give something to the client. I want to be stable. Kindly give the opportunity. A client of mine called EPAM Systems, which is one of my earlier clients and one of the best clients of mine. Of course, there were others. They came up with a mandate that, okay, can you engage my people every week? I want you to entertain them. Then I came up with a plan. I came with a technology integration. Then slowly, other corporates, I was able to give a very intensive technology of doing something where, like, using a 3D kind of an effect, getting virtually connected, musical, because people were not. So we were able to slowly learn very fast how to adapt technology. So if you are not adapted technology at that time in April, because I was up and running in April with business of mine with my client, and I did not seek large ticket. That not mean that I'm doing business, doesn't mean that what I was doing I'm doing the same. No, I was doing probably even 5% of my business I was doing, but client knows that I'm alive. I want client to feel that I am there and I can give solution. And when we started doing that, slowly we felt that we could reach global. So for me, city was no more a requirement for me. I was giving the same a client a solution of doing it of multi branches for you. I could be able to give you across global, and I was able to do product launches global where I have audience across coming up and then doing the same. So that is where I felt the adaptability was something. We were touchwood, we're fast enough to do that. And I do not want to lose my client. So I want a recall of my client. So today, the same client who knows that I do large scale events of 5,000 or 10,000 also knows that I could even do it for 20 people, a virtual experience I can do. And they reach out to me. And now I have a team which takes care of it now, so that they are able to take care of those small, because this gives us thinking we can able to do it physical or a live or online. We are there for you is what I want to do. And customers at this point of time, when I was discussing this, even clients were clueless about how this will actually come out. So they were betting again on me. So they were betting on me, on a guy who's learning something, but I have to give them as if I'm a techie guy. So I learned so much of jargon, so much of things which I have not probably known about it. But I have interaction with a lot of other guys, technical guys, understand about acha ye kya hota, wo kya hota, so that we'll able to give the solution. And go those guys, right guys, I got them again back in technical thing, who can give me the solution. And I used to always be a marketing guy, so I used to be able to present it rightly to the client and get them, but then they execute for us and we collaborated. This is the time we collaborated with a lot of technology companies who are there, who can give me solutions. So they had something like a backend, we were the front end for them, and then gave a solution. So that way the adaptability was something we were, I would say, as simple as 1 week back, I did one for a global managers meet for Synchrony, which was a great hit. And till date, the one testimonial I got from the CEO was they did not have such a virtual meet in last 2 years of their pandemic. This is the testimonial from CEO of Synchrony, Andy Poneri is there. He told that to me because we pulled off the event in about 10 days in such a way that they were able to be quite happy with the choices what we gave and the solutions what we gave and executed it also. So this is what about adaptability. And last, my point of is trust and ethics, because that's my baseline always been. That's what Forges taught me, that to be in terms of ethics and trust. Trust is something, I trust my team. I trust my associates. I never call my vendors as vendors. I hate that word vendors. I say they are my business partners. And when a client tells, any of the client has told me till date that, I have given a shut up call to the client when they said that me as a vendor. I say, if you're a vendor, then I will do a job what you wanted it. If you make me as a partner, I will able to do the job more than what you have thought about. I will put me in your shoes. I'll put myself in your shoes. Think about what you need. So never call a vendor, rather call him as an associate or a support partner as what it. That's a kind of a privilege which I wanted to give to my particular. So at this point of time, the trust is on my associates, my support partners, and my team, who, though they do not know about virtual, they were able to embrace it and support me in whatever best possible ways. Right now, today, they are working like this on a laptop and telling a client and then getting one X performer from X company, X city, and then Y performer from Y, and then they are trying to, though they are not doing it, there's another person doing, but they are part of it. So the trust is important for us, and the trust which we win from the client. So in that trust, I would say there was a point one about 3 years back. Genpact has been my client for last 15, 20 years now. There was one time when night at 9 o'clock, I got a call from the head of logistics for Genpact telling about I need, it was an SOS call. Night 10 o'clock, I usually don't take a call, but then he called up. Then I said, okay. He says, I need your help. I said, kya chahiye? So bola ki there's a tomorrow cafeteria has collapsed of ours because they were coming up a new facility at Pocharam, which is now up and running now. It's about 4-5 years back, I'm telling. He says, my cafeteria, which is a shed, got collapsed. Now I want your help. How you could able to get me that tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock, I want to give lunch to all my staff, that is my employees who come for the morning shift. Lunch, I need to give them in the same place. I said, it's raining like cats and dogs for last 3 days, and how can it be? He says, I do not know, how can you help me? I said, okay, so ek kaam karo, phone rakh de, baad mein baat karenge. I just kept the phone. I did not know the situation there. I tried to knock up the various doors of my associates or various people. And then I found one guy. I said, "Sir, मेरा godown open है. आपके पास बंदे लेके आओ कहीं से, जो सामान चाहिए लेके जाओ. मगर मेरे पास बंदे नहीं है, क्योंकि सब लोग नहीं है इधर." I said, okay, ठीक है. Give your keys. We'll take care. Then I mobilized a team at night 1 o'clock. My team. We went over. There was a recce done at 2 o'clock of the venue. What is happening? It was pouring like anything everywhere. The water was the same water situation what LG happened for me from there 10 years back. It came back to me. So we came up with a solution, and the vendor I requested, and different people, associates, they came up. I have to pull in 2-3 guys. Morning 4 o'clock, the team was in place, and dot at 10 o'clock, we made it a point that everything is there, and the catering team came up with the chefing and put it. And at that time, the employee walked in at 11 o'clock as if it was all set one night before. And he came up for his lunch and went. And that time, the same gentleman, his name is Satish, who is now the global logistics leader for Genpact. So Satish came up, and I said, yeah, thanks so much. He said, thanks to TK, but what the hell you really think at night 9 o'clock you call up with this, and then yes me. He says, that is the reason why I called you. When all my doors were shut at that time, I called you the SOS call, because I know if nobody can turn around, you can turn around. I said that kind of that's a trust. Again, that trust, frankly speaking, I did not have on myself at that time, but the client has on you the trust that you could deliver it. And that gives us the immense strength of doing something. So when the client bestows that trust on you, that you could do a fabulous job, and in turn, you probably give it to your team and your support partners, because all that is one thing. I learned that in Fauj. We go out, 2 दिन खाना नहीं मिलता, और वापस जब आते हैं हम लोग, all you have to deal when we have a disperse, all the team is dispersal का एक रहता है, debrief रहता है. All we do is one pat on the back of the Jawan and says, Shabash Muniyam, badhiya kaam karne. That one word will make him next mission, I have it next day morning, or that day same in 1 hour, he is ready for it. That Shabash Mundiyo is what we learned in Fauj, to give a pat on the back, and then things are up and running, because in the end, that is what is required for a person. And that is what I do it with my associate. Even when I wind up and then go back the work, that is the event is done and client is happy, I ensure that I talk to every of the workers who are dismantling and then thank them and go. Why? Because that's a hard work. No different thing, we are paying them, but they are giving their effort, because I go back at 10 o'clock after the dismantling, but they go back home only by next day morning, 6 o'clock. After all the dismantling goes to the godown and it is kept properly. So that's where the trust is important, and ethics, because without ethics, I think we can't do business, as all of us know that ethics is important. Ethics plays a big role in entrepreneurship journey, because if you look at making money is one thing, but if you're able to make the right way of making money is what I probably believe in. Because many a times there have been tenders where I've been part of, and that's one of the reasons why I don't get into tenders, is there's always something which I have to do for, which I'm probably not. I probably मैं बोलता हूँ, एक ही बोलता हूँ client को, जो भी ऐसा over talk to me like that, I say, I don't understand that language. If you want me to work, instead of 24 hours, you want me to work 48 hours, I'll work. If you want something very task which is not done, you want that, I will do. You want creatively done, I'll do. But if you want me to take care of things, that is not probably, I do not learn, I don't understand that point. So kindly don't come to me. And there are many times where we lost business because of that. Just because I was not able to take care of somebody, the business has gone to X person, and it has come back to us also. There are chances, but it is also that I'm not saying that others are not doing great job. They're doing great job, but they're also accommodating. But
Right.
I have some ethics that, okay, there was a time when in one of the dealer meets, I don't like the, I'll not name the company. It was done in
You shouldn't, because we are recording it.
So one of the particular thing when I did in another place, there was a kind of thing where people were, looking at, can we take care of something? I said, sorry, that's not probably not in my scope of things. Not I would like to be part of it. You want to do me to do an event, wow, where your dealer meet has to be a proper wow. That is where it is for. If anything else, kindly don't even. I don't mind losing that 1 crore contact. Doesn't matter. Why? Because that's where the basis on which we have built the foundation for my particular organization. And that is probably I have lost a lot of crores of money over a period, I would say, in last about 10-15 years. But what we earned is from the client is that we are the guys who are neat and clean to work with, trustworthy to do it, and we deliver more than what we can to the client by the ways of commitment from our side. That is something is what we try to look at it. But then for important for an entrepreneur is the ethics. If you do not have ethics in your business, I will tell you, you might earn crores of rupees, but probably you will not have a name. And in today's thing, if you suddenly see that, we lost all that particular money we lost, but what I have probably till date, even now, is the name of the which we earned. And the client is calling us and giving us a work or asking us how to go about it only because of that particular thing that we will advise rightly, and we are guys would not go the wrong way. So I feel these three are very important for me: is resilience and adaptability and trust and ethics. And I will rate trust and ethics is the most important more than anything else, which will go a long way in establishing USV as a brand. It could be individual or a brand of a company, but that's most important, and other things. So that's, I think I have that to share. Thank you.
Yeah, can you give your department names? When I came to your office, I found your department names very unique.
Okay.
I don't know if Varun has really seen, does know. You don't know, right?
No,
Can
no,
you just give the names of the departments, accounts department?
yeah, basically they are bean counters. We call them as bean counters. And then my doers are my marketing team are there. And then we have, of course, we have nut and bolts is my operations team as such. And of course there is a think tank which we call ourselves as dreamers. So I'm part of that dreamers team. So we try to probably innovate, ideate, and all. That's where.
Yeah, because when you go into the office, you find nuts and bolts. You have departments like that. So it is very eye catchy. If you actually see that, it's very eye catchy. Okay, wonderful, Captain. You have served the country, and there are certain things that people learn from the sheer working in services as to how better a human being you can be. Okay, and it will test your limits also. Now, I worked with couple of my bosses were brigadiers, so I know what life is and all that. So at least from a theoretical standpoint, I know what it is. In Agra, I used to stay in a major general's home. He had a bungalow. I rented it for some time when I worked in Oberoi's. So I know what this things this life is. Okay, wonderful. So let's talk to a business owner who comes from a business family and runs a fairly decent size businesses, a lot of employees, a lot of challenges. I'm sure COVID must have put you into a lot of difficulty too, in managing, because yours is all physical work. You have to deliver vehicles, and that's the thing.
Correct.
Go ahead, Varun. Mic is yours now.
Fantastic. So the first skill that I feel is the most important for any entrepreneur or anyone leading a team is to be able to listen. When we talk about listening, it is not just putting the person in front of you and listening, but sometimes you have to even listen or observe from the behavior that your teammates or your clients are showing. They are generally, what I've learned is they will not open up the very first time that they see you. They will probably, and they will probably not communicate what they want to upfront right away. They'll probably try and go around it or something like that. So you'll have to listen to their body language, listen to what they're talking, try and get them to speak what they actually want to convey to you. So that is one very important part, because end of the day, in most of the businesses, while you keep growing the business after a certain initial stage, you your team tends to be in touch with your customers more than you are, unless you're working on projects or something like that. But most of the time, what happens is you take a more administrative or a planning kind of a role, and the team at the grassroots level or the team which is at the customer front is different. So if you're listening to them, they are going to keep conveying the difficulties or the hurdles or the good things that they've been doing to get day-to-day things moving on for you. So listen to your team members who are in the customer end, or all the other team members also, but specifically more importance to your customer facing team. Second thing I've also realized is listening to your competitors or your immediate competition is a very, very good thing, because there you have your experience or your geographical areas experience or your continual clients experience. Once you speak to your competitor and listen to what he's got to say about how the market is or industries or how the business or how he's doing business, you get some knowledge from him on how he's dealing with his customers, how he's dealing with his clients, or how his set of clients are different, or how he's probably doing different things for achieving the same result that you're also trying to do. So, see, a very relatable example is when you're doing your GST calculations or billing or invoicing, each person does it a little differently, and that gives them some advantage or disadvantage, whether it is in terms of TDS filing, whether in terms of GST input, or whether it is in terms of calculating your expense or depreciation and various other things. That's a very simple, that's something that you can catch up very quickly. So you get to know more of the tricks of the trade. So, and I'm sure you all must be quite aware that more you are able to listen, the better decisions you'll be able to make. So that's one. The second thing, I've worded it a little differently, just so that, because I find it very important. You need to be stingy to allocate your resources.
Yeah,
When
very catchy. It's a very catchy word, stingy.
yeah,
Yeah.
some people might take it in the negative sense also, but stingy, when I say stingy to allocate resources, generally we end up relating stingy with the money as such. But when I'm saying resources, most important resource of any entrepreneur is his time. That is the only thing that is limited. That is the only thing you can't increase or reduce. So you have to be very clear how you're giving time to which kind of a problem or which kind of a situation that comes in front of you. Sometimes there are very petty issues that will get you caught up, and there is pressure from your team to keep solving it. But you need to understand, okay, where your time is important, where your time is not important. It can be done by the rest of the team. Uh, because time is one thing which is limited, and apart from time, again, you have a certain skill set. The rest of your team has, every team member has their unique skill set. So giving advice without any problem in front of you is a complete, be very stingy in giving free advice.
This is a good one.
Give
Good
it
one.
to them, give it to them only when they're facing a problem or they come up to you with a particular problem, whether it's a customer or it is a team member. Eh, Because just talking and giving out advice, I don't think it's helpful, or it doesn't it devalues you as an entrepreneur, or your time as an entrepreneur is reduced. I think that I've clearly communicated that part. And if you are in a process kind of an industry where you need to give a certain amount of raw material to make a certain finished good, in that case, try and be a little stingy in depending on what you're making, while you're able to maintain your quality. Try and experiment, try and keep finding ways how you can reduce the input material being given to get an output out of the finished product, while maintaining your quality standards and the end product that you want to deliver. There you will have some operational gains. Even if you are able to save, say, 0.01% of the material being put in, that is a direct addition to your bottom line. So I would say, don't be stingy in procuring quality equipment or quality infrastructure for your location. I've seen that firsthand. So the infrastructure which is old and the infrastructure which is new, there is a difference in the way, depending on the environment around you, the customers as well as your team members and associates perceive you differently. The same set of people in two different environments will perceive you and talk to you differently.
True.
A very simple example of this is, I keep saying, whenever my same set of friends who visit my arena showroom, which is about 20 odd years old, their body language is very different, their expectation is very different, versus when they come to visit my Nexa showroom, which is about 2.5 years old. Their expectations there automatically tend to be different. And same is the case with employees who are working here and transferred to the other location. Depending on your environment, the expectations change. So maintaining good quality infra and having quality equipment as much as your resources allow you should be the idea. Or whatever, whenever you decide to spend something, spend it on quality, not on. So don't be stingy with quality. That's what I want to say. And the final skill I feel, which is very, very important and crucial as an entrepreneur, is the ability to be able to express what you feel. And when I say ability to express what you feel to your banker or your financer, your better half, maybe most of the time, whether it is your father or your children, if you're in a business jointly with your partner and other things also. Express very clearly to your team members, whether the member is senior or junior. See, if you do not agree with something, please make it clear that you do not agree with a certain style and you want it to be changed. You can express it. Sometimes you have to express politely, sometimes you have to express it in a harsh way, sometimes you have to express indirectly also. Sometimes your actions will express. Sometimes by not talking is also a way of, as in just ignoring it, is also a way of expression or communicating to the people. And yeah, if you express things, I think there is nothing that no roadblock that can't be passed or cleared. So these are a few things, and definitely as an entrepreneur, there are more skills that are required. It's not, I'm sure when you're covering all the skills of all entrepreneurs, it will cover majority of them. The underlying assumption whenever you're running an organization, business, whether it's a small or a large business, the underlying assumption is you are in the business and your intent in the business is to be serving the customer, ensuring that it's in the best interest of your team, and whatever decisions you're taking is with the intent for the business to move forward. Obviously, ethically, without any saying. So if your intent is going to be in the right direction, you will keep making small wrong decisions, right decisions. That doesn't matter. You learn from the wrong ones and keep going in the, you learn, okay, you have done this wrong, but this was my intent. So I will just pick up what I've done wrong and try another way of, reaching the goal of the business or the intent of the business. So yeah, that's basically about the top three skills probably.
Sure. Wonderful. Wonderful. See, both of you manage businesses which are larger. Okay. In our group, if you see, there are a few people who manage larger, so you fall into that category. So one of the things that always the small entrepreneur would have in their mind is, how do I make my business big? So the whole idea, whenever somebody starts a business, they have this thing in their mind that one day I'll make it very big. But the pivot, they're never able to get that, never able to recognize when it will come. So how, if you can briefly explain, Varun, how this scaling up actually happens? What is it an entrepreneur should do to scale up business? How to see scale? What are the one or two, three things which are important in that?
So a very important aspect of scaling or running a business is to be able to give your 8 to 10 hours, 6 days a week to the business. Just by setting up a shop and giving 3 4 hours or 6 hours will not help. You have to give your 8 to 10 hours. You have to be able to trust your team and build a team where you can delegate. End of the day, scaling up is nothing but more like a Xerox machine. You first understand the formula, make sure the business that you are in is making you some money, as in it is saving you something in your bottom line. Right? Even if it is saving you 1%, it's okay. But make sure first you're running a business, you're experimenting, you're doing a whole cycle, and you're saving some money. Then you just need to keep Xeroxing it and getting in operational improvements, and that will come with experience either which way. There's nothing else that is required. And obviously, see, avenues of raising money, raising capital are just immense in today's day and age. People are, you look at the kind of money which is going into stock markets and cryptocurrencies, people don't even understand anything about cryptocurrencies, but you have shitloads of people, you ask them, the youngsters, you ask them, what are you doing? I'm investing in cryptocurrencies. I'm investing in startups. Like, do you know what that startup does? So what I mean to say is there is sufficient liquidity available in the market. When people who have no idea what business is doing, or they're not making money, can raise money, then someone who is making a little bit of a bottom line will be able to raise money much more quickly and better. So once you understand your business, get the operational profit on, then you need to understand you have to delegate it to someone, and you need to get into multiplying the same or doing a Xerox of the same process over and over again.
Wonderful. Yeah. Anything that you want to add, Captain Anand?
Yes, sir. Probably yes. I think a point where Varun was mentioning is very much their key. What I look at that is actually focus. As an entrepreneur, as a small entrepreneur or a big, whatever it is, the focus is what I would say would get you to what you want to achieve tomorrow in terms of making big. Because you need to dream big, never dream small as an entrepreneur, and focus on it what you're dreaming so that you're able to achieve. It is like, I still remember that where you look at in National Geographic, if you see one of those kind of thing where you have a cheetah chasing over a zebra. I think probably that's a very, very
Yeah,
common thing you see that.
yeah.
So if you see that particular, this was one of the analogies recently also I was listening to, where the cheetah chases the zebra till the time that zebra gets tired. But there's a group of zebras who are there nearby, try to distract the cheetah by coming near it so that it leaves the cheetah because that zebra is already tired. But cheetah does not get distracted by those zebras which is on the left and right, but chases that zebra which is tired because he knows his focus is the kill which it want. That's the kind of a focus we as entrepreneurs should have, that's particular, and it should be with passion, sir. I always feel anything driven by passion, I always feel that there is success ratios are big. So you need to get into something. I still remember when couple of people who took up, just because the restaurant business is doing great, they also said, okay, let me invest and do it I'll start a restaurant. That was one kind of a phase which is happening. But if you do not have a passion of restaurant, if you want to make money, that's not what it is. But if you are consider, you know about so-called culinary, you know about, or if you know what chef is all about, tomorrow you should be ready. Because I still remember my grandmother, sir. She is, by the way, one of the biggest entrepreneurs I have seen. She died at the age of 95, but she's one lady where she used to have those mills, the mill which gives you that mixing of all these masalas in the villages, if you remember. uh, you
Yeah.
get the masala mills, right? That one. There, there are times when the worker who is supposed to come has not come. She ensures she goes stand there and does that particular masala mixing for the people who come for grinding those chana and all this batter doll which is there. So what she always says is, if you know something, you should be able to hands on to it. If you're not hands on, don't do that, is what she's tell business. A lot of his people who come to her at that, she's like a big advisor in their own village. and
Yeah.
and she is. So what I'm saying, that's a kind of a queer. I always look at it that if you know that your passion is there and you should know the business, tomorrow if your chef is not able to come, you should go and make that dosa and give it to the customer. If you're not able to, then don't get into the restaurant business at all. You will not say that, it's not working for me, because you're not probably choosing the right is what it is. So also,
Correct.
always in today's things, the startups are happening. If you see that, so all the startups, what they do is, I still remember even about when I was having some discussions about in these pandemic, people say, sir, let's build this one. We will make a valuation game and then sell it. I said, if your thought process is valuation, rather, if you're building a business for your investors who will buy it, then you are in the wrong business. If you are building it for your customers, then that business will last. Why? Because you always will think about them and then innovate in your business. So I feel as an entrepreneur, we need to probably choose that line, not to build for others, but for the customer, what it is, what is the need of a customer, and focus on it. I feel then there is no competition at all, sir. I would always say, look at it as a particular entrepreneur. You should never be bothered about what is the other competition are doing. I will always, frankly speaking, till date, I have not bothered about what my other guys, I always appreciate them because they're doing great work. There are other event managers who are doing amazing work better than me. There are youngsters who have come doing it. But what is there? It is what I do, I will do at my best. Probably that time client will value me and will give me additional orders, and they always reach out to me. So that kind of a feel, if at all you have, like focus on your customer, I think there is no competition and you will feel that the business is flourishing. Otherwise, many of them lose halfway the petrol khatam ho jata hai. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So let me try to wind this up by summarizing what you people have said. So unknowns, Captain Anand, you started off with unknowns is what forces taught you, and entrepreneurship is all about unknowns. We don't know how things crop up, from where they crop up, we don't know. So be ready for anything. That's how you started. And resilience is basically about bouncing back. There will be setbacks, and how we will bounce back is more important. And these setbacks only teach you a lot of things which no other thing will teach you. And accept you are not able to do something, and try to then find solutions that will make a mark, because clients will hire you because of your expertise, and bring that expertise out. So you need to accept where you can do, can't do. Those things you need to know it very well. LG example was a fantastic one, and rains are bothering all over the world now. To see Germany, India, Maharashtra, anywhere you see the rains are battering. Yeah, LG example stands out. Adaptability is very important. You're absolutely right. COVID taught everyone, because this word adaptability, when we were talking earlier, nobody really understood that. I think COVID has really put everybody in this thing. And you're absolutely right. We have to adapt to situations, because entrepreneurship is completely with a lot of unknowns, and it is better to adapt to situations very quickly. So the technology platforms, how to collaborate on tech platform, and all of that, those things are very interesting. And trust, which you rated as number one, trust and ethics. Ethics should be there in business, without which there is no point in business. Trust in teams, associates, vendors, sorry, not vendors, business partners. And the designations you gave to you are very, very interesting. And what you said is that, staying till the last mile with your team and thank them, especially when the dismantling work is going on, because all your work is put it and then remove it. So the dismantling time is very, very inspiring. And yeah, entrepreneurs need to have ethics, and without which it doesn't serve. And coming to Varun, very, very important aspects. Large businesses, you're absolutely right. Owners become, administrative responsibilities will be more, organizational responsibilities will be more on the owners. So you're not disconnected with the customer, but on a day-to-day interaction, you don't really do with the customers, not with the volume that others usually do. And it is a team which does. So understanding what the team is actually going through, especially the customer facing, understanding those aspects, and also meeting our nearest competitor, or rather the immediate competitor, trying to understand how the business is happening in their location, how they're handling things. It could be any of those. Of the quick ones come of course, always for every business is GST, TDS. These are things that are usually which comes very quickly. But what the point that you have said is very, very important, is listen more, so that it improves the quality of decision making. The quality of decision making will be very good if you listen very more. And you came up with this very negative word in a most positive sense. It was very tricky and it was catchy also. It is about stinginess, because we understand that stinginess very easily. The moment you say stingy, you don't have to, if you use the word maybe optimize, you'll have to explain what optimization is. Stingy, you can easily tell. Be stingy here, don't be stingy here. The do's and don'ts of stinginess, you have very clearly put it. I think people will understand it very easily. Yes, time is something which is very precious for entrepreneurs. And, when you told me this, it devalues free advice. When you said, don't give free advice, devalue, I remembered my boss, one of my bosses told me that, don't be a consultant. I never knew that point of time that I will become one. But, but I remembered that dialogue, that, don't give free advice, hold back, listen completely, tell in what you said subsequently about expression, tell very clearly to your investors, bankers, or anybody, even your wife, like you said, very clearly what you agree, what you don't agree, so that, things will be very clear. And you use this thing very well. You said use emotions very well when you're telling. Could be politeness, even ignorance, something you have to tell in a little aggressive mode, so that you don't have any roadblocks. It will be very easy, and moving forward becomes very, very easy. And stinginess should not be there on quality, infrastructure, equipment. These are certain things that you have mentioned. So the points of stinginess, do's and don'ts, they came out very well. And scaling, you guys have given very good thing. Combined both of you. Varun said 8 to 10 hours you must put. Build team, because eventually trust and build. Because only when you have people with you, you're working with more number of people. That means that you are growing in business. And the Xerox example which you gave is very good. But first of all, what you need to do is focus on the operational profit. Get your business in order, get to know what is selling, and sell that. And then, like Anand said, the cheetah example is fantastic. Have the focus of the cheetah. Don't get distracted here and there. And passion always helps, because passion, even if things are down, will keep you going. What is passion? Passion is, that energy that you have in you, that you take it forward. Without passion, if you try to do things, it won't really work out. So passion will keep you going. So wonderful. These are things that you people have given. And I'm sure our members in the group will really enjoy seeing your video. I'm sure you also will enjoy seeing this video. So I will also come back to you all with a debrief on what these 3 entrepreneurial skills, which probably will become 10 or 15, I don't know. So far, they are quite a big number. So we will roll them up into maybe 10 or 15, and we will compare it to what Dr. PMN research said, what Harsha research said, and what these top entrepreneurs in the world have said, and where we stand. Just academic interest, so that we will understand, where we are. And like Varun said, it is absolutely correct. There are so many competencies an entrepreneur need to have. In our training, we taught 22. Okay, so talking just the 3 is very unfair. But in the interest of time, I think it will become very interesting. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your contributions. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a good session.